now and over the next 1 month on who is going to win the biggest prize of this election season. On the rest of the story, we try and break down the story of Western media's biased viewpoint against the Indian elections.
I'm just sitting here. Why are you doing this to me?
Scenes like these are now becoming increasingly regular on top Ivy League campuses in the United States of America. While these protests do get widespread coverage, what often doesn't get reported with equal elan is the fallout. Take the case of Indian American Riddhi Patel, arrested in Bakersfield in California for threatening US lawmakers during a council hearing on Gaza ceasefire. Patel's speech, including violent threats and abuse, sparked a massive outrage.
And I understand that you guys are all horrible people, but the thing is, 2,300 people being evicted in the last year, those are votes. And you guys, those are votes to win here in Bakersfield. And while you guys parade Gandhi around as a Hindu holiday called Chaitra Navratri, it starts off this week, I remind you that these holidays that we practice, that other people in the global south practice, believe in violent revolution against their oppressors. And I hope one day somebody brings the guillotine and kills all of you.
She faced 16 felony counts, including threats to terrorize. And this was the impact. None of this sparks any international outcry when similar events occur in India. Just go back to student protests in AMU or Jamia or the Jawaharlal Nehru University. No sane mind would ever want a crackdown on students. Most certainly, we do not support slapping of sedition cases on protesting students, as has indeed happened in India. But why does this always lead to the kind of headlines and coverage in international press on state of Indian democracy? Why is it that Indian democracy is in danger every time law enforcers end up doing something which is being done, perhaps in other countries of the world as well? Let's compare this now to the story of Indian elections, a nation of 1.4 billion people, just under 1 billion voters, a 2-month electoral process unfolding in searing heat in large parts of the country. This is a statement put out by one of the leading lights of the Congress party. Words like dictator, sledgehammer, bias, worse, fixed election being used with great conviction. Now it's true that in independent India, we've not seen leaders with the kind of spell a Narendra Modi may have cast on a vast section of India.
पहले हज कोटा कम होने की वजह से कितनी मारामारी होती थी, उसमें भी रिश्वतखोरी चलती थी और ज्यादातर रसूखदार लोग ही हज जाने का मौका पाते थे। मैंने सऊदी अरब के क्राउन प्रिंस से आग्रह किया था कि हमारे भारत के मुसलमान भाई बहनों के लिए हज का कोटा बढ़ाएं। आज न सिर्फ भारत का हज का कोटा बढ़ा है, बल्कि वीजा नियमों को भी आसान बनाया गया है। सरकार ने एक बहुत बड़ा अहम फैसला लिया। पहले हमारी मुस्लिम माताएं बहनें अकेली हज करने जा नहीं सकती थी। सरकार ने महिलाओं को बिना महरम हज जाने की अनुमति भी दी और मुझे हजारों ऐसी बहनें आशीर्वाद दे रही है जिनका हज जाने का सपना पूरा हुआ।
But does it mean that because you have a hugely popular leader like Modi in the mix and India's election is becoming largely presidential in nature, Indian democracy ends up being in danger? This theme of Indian democracy is in danger has now been at work for quite some time actually. But when it starts to question big businesses as well, in pretty similar manner as it would have done with Indian politicians, then it leads to more questions. The Gautam Adani saga appears to be a case in point. From Australia to Heidelberg, The Adani enterprise has always been targeted by the Western media as one which has made its mark only and only due to government patronage. But what the Western moguls failed to mention is that the premise of the Adani Group was laid during the Congress years.
Rajiv Gandhi had just become the Prime Minister and he initiated the liberalization of import policies. The start of liberalization gave me my first break.
A major chunk of his investments has been in states ruled by Congress earlier and even now. Take the case of Telangana. On a day when the principal opposition party, the Indian National Congress, was holding a press conference in Delhi attacking Gautam Adani, his son was having breakfast and was promising major investments in a state which had just been won by the Congress party. It's these nuances which often don't get picked by the Western press. And it's this lack of picking up these nuances which makes an approach to India look very lopsided. There are questions which our democracy may be throwing at us. Levers of our democracy may certainly be getting tested, stretched perhaps, but by no means are these levers broken, as is being suggested by many of our Western media friends.